And between every one of these judgments, you know, the seals, if you think of old scrolls that were important to dictators and rulers in the old world, say Roman Empire, those seals were bound up and they were stamped. So you had some information and the emperor said, nobody open this, stamp it, and then stamp it. And so you had 7 of these scrolls that were closed and sealed. And that's the kind of thing that Jesus was opening. Each one of these things that had information, the seal was broken by Jesus, and out came these judgments. Now, I also want to throw in a word here. Ron, the fact is, after every one of these judgments happened, there was a pause.
Yes.
And the Bible says that a lot of people came to Christ, but the Bible more emphatically says there were a lot of people that turned against God and hardened their heart. And I can see why people would turn to God, but I don't get this idea of people hardening their heart against God.
I think that one of the things we're going to see in the tribulation period is calloused hearts. You know, when you rake the lawn, your hand gets calluses and it becomes insensitive to pain. Well, likewise, the human heart can become calloused and insensitive to the things of the Spirit. I think that's going to hit at a pandemic level during the tribulation period. But let's not forget that Satan is the god of this world. And one of the things that Satan does is he blinds the minds of unbelievers. He doesn't want people coming to Christ during the tribulation period. But I like what you said. There's a period of time between each of these judgments. That shows that even in the darkest period of human history, which is the tribulation period, God still shines his light of grace, opening the door to salvation. We do read in Revelation 7 that there's going to be a great multitude of believers. Part of that might result from people who ponder these judgments. Some of it might result from the 144,000 Jewish witnesses, or perhaps the 2 prophetic witnesses of Revelation 11. But God will continue to shine his light.
What's fascinating too, John, is that when you see this narrative in Revelation, concurrently what's happening is you see the great grace of God still being poured out on humanity during a time when his judgments are also being poured out. But also you see human hearts being hardened at that time. In fact, by the time we get to seal 6 in Revelation chapter 6, then we have humanity hiding from God. And they're all acknowledging that all these judgments are coming not from some atmospheric anomaly or from some alien force, but from the Lamb and him who sits on the throne. And so they all acknowledge that God exists and that he's the source of these judgments. That tells us this, John, there's not a single atheist on planet Earth during the tribulation.
You know what's also interesting in relation to that is that earlier in the New Testament, we read that the Father has assigned all judgment to the Son. Christians will appear before the judgment seat of Christ. Unbelievers will appear before the great white throne judgment. It's also Christ who is unleashing these judgments upon the earth.
Yep.
That's a different Jesus than a lot of people are familiar with.